Rachel, I'm so glad to be chatting with you. So, if you follow the Stepmom Diaries podcast, we just finished recording an episode with Rachel there, but wanted to hop in here and just chat a little bit more about the business side of things and a little bit more about coaching and the work that she's doing. So, I'm excited to be over here chatting more. Rachel and I've had lots of conversations in the last year or two about kind of the challenge around, stepmoms looking for help. And there are more
Mm,
people now than there were when I became a stepmom and probably when you became a stepmom too. At least especially on social media, there are more, which, I'm always happy to see more voices talking about this stuff. But the challenge I think is that there there are more coaches, but I would say by and large, therapists don't necessarily have the training in step family dynamics and can end up even really well-meaning therapists can end up causing harm. And I don't know, Rachel, tell me a little bit about like the clients that you see. Do you have a lot of them that come in and they've seen a therapist and have gotten really bad advice? Because I know I have had a fair share.
yeah, I do.
And nothing, I guess I should preface, like, nothing to knock therapy. Like, I am getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling. You are have your getting your LPC and your PhD in counseling. Like, we love therapy.
Yes, we do. But there is, like I'll say even in my hometown, if everybody knows if there's like any therapist, there's a step family issue that comes up, like I'm going to get the referral because there's really no one else. Like
Yeah.
there are some places that have like people that specialize in that, but I think I only ever found one in the whole state of Alabama that like mention step family counseling in their private practice website. But with my clients, I have had a lot of them that have had some good personal work that they've done, but when they kind of went into that step family territory, they felt there was some resistance there for them because they could feel that the, clinician did not quite understand those unique dynamics and like it was like a whole different, I don't know, just a whole different area of work to do. And I think that they knew they needed something uniquely tailored for that step family experience. And like you said, there's so many different people doing that online now, which is such a great thing because even as many people as there are, when you look at how many step families and stepmoms are out there, it's still not a ton, right? But I love that you can get online and like find some really good
Yeah.
step family coaches. And so, yeah, I mean, I've seen that. We don't always talk about that, but I can definitely sense that there's major relief when we start digging in where it's like they're like, never had anybody say it that way, or like, oh, I didn't realize that was normal, or you can
Yeah.
tell they've never really been validated by the mental health professional they were working with before they worked with me.
Yeah, I think so much of the research that's out there, putting aside the amazing research that a lot of our colleagues in the step family space are doing,
Mhm.
because there is some really great research. People like Todd Jensen and Bailey
Yeah.
Oliver Blackburn and, obviously Patricia Papernow. And I mean, there's a whole group of those folks. Putting that group aside, I feel like a lot of the research that's out there kind of still treats step families like they're aberrations, not the right word, looks at step families as less than first families instead of just like another family system that we need to understand.
Yeah,
Have you
I
seen that
agree.
too?
Yeah, and I think it's just obviously, like you said, there are researchers out there that are definitely pointing these gaps in the research out and, asking good questions and doing a lot of good research. But overall, there is a major lack of research in the step family area, particularly the stepmom. There's a lot more on kids and
Yeah.
their experience in the step family. There's actually quite a bit on stepdads and men, men in that situation, biological mothers or biological fathers. The biggest lack that I've seen personally is with stepmom
Uh-huh.
mental health,
Agree.
which is like they've also like shown in research that it's pretty much the most stressful role in the step family unit. So I'm just very
Yeah.
confusing.
It is. It's crazy because it's like there are studies that talk about how stepmothers experience depression and anxiety at a higher rate
Mm.
than biological moms or than stepdads, but then it's like the research stops.
It
Like,
I really
we
when
need to understand what this does to
yeah, when
stepmom.
I really think about that, Cameron, I'm like, "What's going on here?"
I know, and I know you and I have talked about that, and we're gonna fix it.
We are gonna fix it, and I think there's a few people out there feeling the same way.
Yeah.
But,
for
like,
sure.
even in my PhD program, like, no one that I've like, in classes that I've been working with, like, nobody is really into the step families. Like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's really cool." Like, they're like, "I'm actually really excited what you're doing." Like, nobody's ever,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I've had the
like,
same
at
reaction
what
with the master's
point
program.
I feel like there's just as many step families now as there are nuclear families. Like, what are we
I mean, it's
doing?
close, it's like 40%.
And it's probably when's the last time they took that,
Yeah.
by now, there's no telling. All I know is there are step families forming left and right, even in my town where I feel like I didn't always see a bunch of divorce. Like, I had no stepmom friends back when I became a stepmom, and there are so many stepmoms here now
Mhm.
that I'm like, "Hey, I got a whole crew here."
Yeah.
Not that I'm see 'em all,
But
but
it is I mean, I think that, like, we saw it in our family, like, we have had therapists that, have been working with the kids or with us that, they don't understand they don't treat our dynamic any differently than a first family dynamic, and
yeah, so
when
damaging.
you're when you're working with a step family, there are certain things that, like, you should not be encouraging them to do, like, you should not be encouraging stepmom to engage in rule setting or discipline, you know? And I mean, you can do real damage because when you have a kiddo that's having behavioral problems, is it because the kiddo's having behavioral problems or is it because, his parents are like fighting it out and saying bad stuff about each other to him and he's
Exactly.
stuck in this step family dynamic that's just really
Mhm.
messed up, And so,
Yeah.
but if you don't understand that, then you're treating the wrong thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I remember somebody telling me one time we went for, like, couples counseling early on because I was like, "We need some help because 'cause I'm, like, early within that first year, and they're like, "Well, you married him, so, like, your stepkid is your kid now." And I'm like,
No, that's not how
"No,
that works.
no, actually, I don't think her mom would
I was just
agree
gonna
with
say, I
that,
don't think mom would feel like that.
and I don't think I agree with that, and I
Yeah,
think my husband would like to believe that, but the truth is it's actually not my child, and the responsibilities and the dynamics between my husband and my stepdaughter are actually way different than her and I, and nothing like, that's just not helpful,
yeah,
and not for my stepdaughter either, like and I remember even just doing family counseling one time, and somebody said something about encouraging her, "Well, just don't talk about your mom." And I'm
oh,
like, "Did you just tell a kid to not talk about their mom?"
ugh,
And we never went back to that person, but I just remember thinking, "You don't know what you're doing,
yeah,
and you're doing more damage than you are good."
yeah, yeah, and again, like, well-meaning, but so
Yeah,
if you had one piece of advice that you would give a brand new step-family coach, what would it be?
well, so I would say you're gonna feel like an imposter at first.
Of
And
that?
there's a lot of things that you're gonna say, "Well, I'm telling this person this, but I haven't fully conquered this area in my own life." Okay. But like sometimes the best learning and growing we get is from teaching and helping other
Oh,
people, right? So like you're not gonna be perfect. You don't have to be perfect and perfectly healed to be doing what you're doing. I'm a therapist. I've had crippling anxiety since perimenopause. Let's just say I'm still a therapist and I still help people with anxiety even when I'm battling my own, like, we're all human here. Okay.
yeah,
So, like, you don't have to be perfect. You're going to feel intimidated at first. You're going to feel a little bit, you're going to have a little bit of imposter syndrome. But you, if you've been trained well and you've walked this walk, you are more than equipped to do
yeah,
this. And every single client, like, I actually think it's funny looking back at like my first clients and like thinking how far I've come. Like, oh, wow, Rachel, like, I mean, I still think I did a good, I'm just saying, like, what felt like, oh God, did thinking about my session after, like, ruminating, did I say this? Should I have done this? And like, now I'm
mhm,
like, I don't even think twice. When it's done, it's done. I feel fully confident that I was competent with whatever situation that we were in.
yeah,
Right. And so I think there's just so much, like with anything in life, like time is important there. Like it's just going to be time until you settle in, but like
mhm,
you are equipped. If you've got the training and you've been to the university of experience, then I'm sorry, but you're ready, and it's going to get easier as you go on, and you'll learn. Like you're growing too, and your coaching will grow along with you.
yes, 100%. I love that advice because that is something, honestly, that's, like, maybe the most common thing that I talk to people who are considering coaching or even some of my newer students, they're like, "I don't know, I did this, I signed
Hmm.
up, but I don't know. We're in the middle of this big custody battle. Like, who am I to be giving anybody any help on this? Like, I'm still dealing with it." And I'm like, "You are exactly who people want to hear from
Exactly,
because you have
somebody who's
been
been through it. Yep. Yeah.
And when you come out, you're gonna have the knowledge. So, like, it's a you're doubly ready. So
Absolutely.
I'm
You
so
ever been to
glad
a
you
therapist? Like, I've always struggled with, anxiety. You ever been to a therapist when you have anxiety that you can tell they've never had anxiety? And you're like, "You just,"
you're
like, there's
keeping on
something
going.
I can pick them out, like, I don't even have to ask. I'm like, "This woman or this man hasn't struggled with this." Like, you can tell, and there is something so comforting, about working with someone that you know has walked a mile in your shoes. Like,
It
it's just a totally different experience
it
in a
really
good
is.
way.
It really is. Well, Rachel, this was so fun. I always love catching up. So
Me too.
thank you for doing this. And for
Thanks
y'all
for having
watching,
me.
definitely make sure that you listen to our episode over on the Stepmom Diaries. And I've got all Rachel's links in the notes below. Rachel, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's do it again one day. I know me and you could rant on this stuff for a
Absolutely.
little.
I know we could talk all day.
Oh, thanks for
Okay.
having me,
Thank
Cameron.
you.
Okay.